Yeah. We are back again. Welcome to our podcast. We're still digesting the previous topic we did, so we are doing part two of that topic. And we still welcome your comments and your suggestions. And as we go on, we'll be uh, inviting guests. We'll have a panel. We will host a female to join us because we have so many good topics that we need to discuss and digest about marriage. You're welcome. You are welcome on board, and we thank you for supporting our podcast. We kindly request you to subscribe, and also you can click on the notification so that whenever we are live, you're able to watch what we're doing, to watch most of our podcasts because we're going to be having many of them. So today we don't have Steve. Steve is busy doing some things somewhere, but he will join us in the other podcast. But I still have the general, senior consultant, expert. How many years in marriage?
Counting, we are still counting.
You're still counting.
Hey.
Oli kumpi kungamba omusajja tebamubalira.
Tebamubalira ebintu bino. We still counting.
Yeah. So yes, even me here, I am married. So it is just about experience. Experience. It's going to be a good ride, I believe. Andrew, say hello to our viewers.
Thank you so much, James. Our viewers, you're welcome to this another episode of this podcast. Continuing in the marriage series, issues about weddings and marriages are the ones we're discussing. So let's enjoy as we move on. We share ideas. Feel free to drop in your comments. Tell us what you think. Tell us where you think we should improve. Tell us what angle you want us to come in.
Yeah.
We'll be able to respond in the subsequent podcast.
Yeah, we'll be looking forward to your comments. Yeah, we'll be looking forward to your comments. And please share, participate with us because I believe there's a lot our married friends out there that they need to know, to learn and understand and all that. Yeah, so today we decided to continue part two. As you see the topic there, marriage without a ring. Can't one stop at an intro. But we wanted to digest something. We wanted to exactly know, what really leads to expensive weddings in Africa. In Africa, why is it that here in Africa we do a lot of expensive weddings? Why do we believe that in Africa for a wedding to be successful, it has to be very big, very big? I mean, I was shocked when I went to for an introduction ceremony. I remember we were together, and there were how many people? Not more than 6. Well, very few. We sat inside the house.
Yes.
We ate our food. We had our speeches there. We never had a PA system.
No.
We ate our food. We discussed, negotiated, finished everything, and then we were given our letter.
Exactly.
And that couple is now happily married.
Absolutely.
So, if that is possible, but before we go to that, Papa, what do you think causes Africans to organize big weddings?
Now, Africans. You see, James, we have a challenge as Africans.
Yeah.
Copying things, number one, first of all. Number two, even when we copy, we don't copy them right. Either we copy haphazardly, or we half copy, or we wrongly copy. Anyhow, copying is copying. That's the problem. So, Africans have a big challenge. Number one, we don't look into our abilities first before planning these weddings.
Yeah.
We are carried off by emotions on set. And that's what the challenge I see. Because a big wedding... Okay, let us ask ourselves a question. What is a big wedding to start with? What is a big wedding?
Yeah.
If you see a big wedding, to me, is something that has, or a gathering, a wedding gathering, that has more than 100 guests. To me, that's a big wedding.
100 guests.
More than 100 guests, to me, that's a big
50
wedding.
It's
50
small.
is manageable. Yes,
Manageable.
it's a small number. 50 is manageable.
Yeah.
70 is manageable.
Mm.
80 is manageable. Even 100 itself is manageable.
But you know that you can even have a wedding of 50 people. And
Absolutely.
It becomes expensive.
Yes, according to someone's ability. True.
Yes.
But what I can say, averagely, anything above 100 is big.
Okay, so anything above 100 is a big wedding.
Anything above 100 is a big wedding.
Why do you think we invite all these people?
Now, that's where the challenge is. For a wedding to be considered big, it comes down to one factor: many invited guests. And that's where your question comes in. Why do we invite these many people in the first place? Why should we have? Why do you have a guest list of 1,000? What is that? Honestly, what is that? What is that? It is too big a number.
Yeah.
Now, James, excuse me. We have a wedding is between two people,
Yes.
a husband and a wife.
Yeah.
To be honest, much as a man organizes a wedding, a woman drives the wedding in the background.
Yeah.
Yes. They drive these weddings because they always say, I want this on my wedding, I want this on my wedding, I want this on my wedding. So, the number one contributing factor to make a wedding big, imagination of women. A woman wants to live what she imagines in her mind. If her mind she has put in so many ideas from movies, from novels, from what friends have done and all that, and built a certain imagination of how her wedding should be. Trust me, come that day of the wedding, she wants to produce that imagination of hers.
So the number one cause of big weddings are the women.
Women imagination.
They are there now saying, Sha.
Oh,
What
yes.
is he talking about?
They will say it, but let's be realistic. The woman will say, okay, I want my wedding to have an entourage of maids, 12 maids. Now, that's just an example. If you have 12 maids, honestly, what do you expect? You look at the effect of 12 maids. It has an effect on cars. It has an effect on where you're going to sit. It has an effect on the high table arrangement. It has a very big effect, which translates into a huge impact on the budget itself. One aspect only, maids. Second aspect I can talk about is what she wants to put on. A woman can say, I have to change 4 times. Which changing 4 times means a lot in terms of a budget. Because you have to buy all those 4 dresses, each dress coming with different accessories. And on top of that, you have an additional, a gown to crown it all. So, imaginations of women, I can assure you, contributes a lot to a bigness of a wedding.
Special shout out to the women. Tubawadde obugalo.
Amina.
Mwebale kutomeza ffe abasajja.
Oh yes, they do it to us. Tewali kyakukola. We have to. We have to encourage them. We have to embrace them.
Yeah. But I know there are women there who are saying, Sha, it is the men who do this, blah, blah, blah. Cut for us, just send us your what? Your comments down there. We'll read them. And if you want, we can host you. Otunyonyole bulungi. But yes, Andrew, I want to agree with you because a woman herself can have a budget, her own personal budget. It's around 40 million.
Which is not the total budget of the wedding, yes.
You look at a gown of around 10 million.
Exactly.
This dress, you're going to put it on for a few hours when you're going to... Okay, let's count from salon when you put it on.
Go to church.
You are in the car, that is... Okay, we say you spent an hour in salon, another hour if the wedding is in Kampala, in Jam.
Transit, yes.
Transit, then you go to church, it takes another 1 hour. Those are 3 hours, and then we count photography, another hour. Those are 4.
Beginning of the reception. Until she changes.
Those are like
5 hours.
5 hours. Yes. 5 hours. So each hour, if you get 10 million, divide by 5.
Oh man,
that is around 2 million per hour. And then you take off that gown and you take it back to the person that rented it to you. I mean, that is huge.
Even if the gown is hers and she bought it,
yeah,
it doesn't make sense.
Yes, yes. So
It doesn't
because
make
Andrew,
sense.
let me tell you, for me, I like when I was going to have my wedding, I talked to my wife and she wanted a gown.
Yeah.
Her dream gown was around 2 million.
Yes.
So I asked her if I got another way of making your dream gown, but tailor made just
Yes.
for you.
Yes.
Is that okay? She told me it was okay. And I remember I spent around 800,000,
See?
800, 900. But I saved over 1.1 million
See that?
on the gown. So we managed to cut that cost down because
Exactly.
we really didn't have the money and all that, but we wanted, to be in a holy matrimony. So you see, so the first major concern, major cause of expensive weddings are the women. Tubongedde obugalo, tubongedde obugalo.
Women help us.
Mutuyambe
Trim your
bannange.
imagination. Trim
Yes.
them. Trim them.
Trim your imaginations. I mean, I've heard of a couple who, in the first 6 months, all they could afford was Posho and Guinness.
Because they spent everything on the wedding.
Can you imagine?
Oh, yes. And it happens.
Eh,
They spend everything on the wedding.
yeah. I mean, this gentleman has told a story. This gentleman organized the wedding, and this now, I want to be on the contrary. Now, the problem was the man.
Oh, yeah.
The man wanted to show off. You know, these guys who dress well, then they come before friends, and then they show off they have money. They usually have like 100K to waste every day. So when such a man organizes a wedding, if they don't control themselves, they would want to pretend.
Yeah, that's another problem.
Yes.
Showing off is another
Showing
problem.
off. So this man organized the wedding, and by the time the wedding ended, they had over a debt of over around 45 million.
But James, you know what? I always ask myself a question. Showing off. Why? Because a wedding is yours. It's not for any other person. Trust me. Nobody talks about that wedding 3 days after it's done.
Nobody even remembers the color.
Nobody remembers of what you are putting on after.
Yeah.
3 days after, nobody will remember it.
Actually, I was reading in one of the popular wedding magazines that they said the only thing people remember on a wedding is the food they ate.
Food, period. And even food, it will keep on showing up maybe 1 or 2 weeks, and that's it.
And that's it.
It dies out.
Yeah. So this couple ended their wedding with a debt of around 45 to 50 million.
When nobody remembers.
But the
you imagine that?
lady asked the man, "Are you sure we can afford all this?" Before the wedding had happened, she asked the man, "Are you sure we can afford this?" And the man was like, "It's okay, babe. It's okay. It's okay."
James, you know what happened? Many times, some people have insecurity issues. That man feels or could have felt that I need to impress this woman and her people for the sake of acceptance, to show that I'm a man. But that's not the best way. Let me tell you, going into debt is not the best way of proving you're a man or of pleasing your in-laws. You be yourself. Be within the levels you are able to. Yes. They will still acknowledge you as the in-law. But why would you need to impress a woman or your in-laws to be by getting into debt?
Imagine having a debt of 45 million after your wedding.
On a non-productive event.
I
The
am
wedding
sorry.
is not productive.
I am sorry, me, I can't even get an erection.
Oh, yes. Man,
Yeah.
on that honeymoon, you're going to suffer.
Man, I
Yes.
remember the photographer wants the money to provide the
Thank
photos.
you very much.
Remember, balina bye bawambye. You remember there is
The
a
cake person
Eh,
doesn't want to cut it before the balance is
Yeah.
completed. What is that?
Someone told me they had to collect all the phones of the people at the reception as
Security.
as security
Wow.
in order for them to be able to cut the cake. So I mean, these are some of the things, the embarrassments you get into by doing things because you want to show off. Yeah, because you want to show off.
Exactly. And I wonder why. Why do people get tempted to show off? Why? You be yourself.
Yeah.
Be yourself.
I mean, if I ask people who attended my wedding anything they remember, telling you, they won't even remember anything. Trust me, even me, the Mugole, I remember I accused a friend of, I went and met a friend of mine after my wedding, a few weeks after my wedding. And I told them, man, I am disappointed you didn't attend my wedding.
And then the man tells you, what? You didn't see me?
The man said, imagine I even came and greeted you.
Greeted
And
you.
even hugged on the wedding.
And you can't remember that I was there.
Can you imagine?
That's a problem. So you see, now if you yourself, you can't remember
The Mugole.
something, the Mugole you can't. How much more those who came?
No, we can even do a sample.
Yeah.
Anyone out there, as the Mugole, if you're a married person and you're watching this podcast, as a Mugole, or even those who are listening in, do you remember the kind of food you ate? That is one.
And how many people
Can
attended?
you tell us like what comprised of the buffet? That is one. Then two, can you remember the taste of your food?
For you to think that you should blow a lot of money on a wedding, thinking people will remember it. No, they're not going to remember.
Yes, and I think this is where we need to sit back and think better, because after the pandemic, we cannot afford such expenditures. Yeah.
And James, after and during the pandemic, we had picked up something.
Yes.
Small weddings.
Small
And people were enjoying their things.
Yes.
Small 50, 20. Are you telling me those are not weddings?
Now the habit is coming.
And the habit has come back again.
Special shout outs to all decorators who you take advantage of the couple and you lie to them and you overcharge them.
God,
decoration that is worth 1.5 for you charge 5 million.
No, let me tell you. I went to a wedding, James, and we were seated inside a 1,000-seater tent, and I happened to ask someone, because I couldn't understand what the roof was like. The ceiling of the tent was, I don't know. Then I asked one of the people in the committee, I asked him, how much was the decoration? The man didn't answer me, just looked at me and said, okay, let me give you a hint. He told me to decorate the inside of the tent ceiling. The ceiling of this tent only cost 40 million shillings.
What?
Only the ceiling.
40 million.
I told him, live like that, don't complete. He said, yeah, exactly.
Man, that's a whole house for myself.
40 million to decorate the ceiling of a tent only. And you know what? We were over 1,000 guests.
What?
Do you know what? All of us, all the guests, we left there with gifts. Because on each table were gifts, branded pens that are.
Oh my God. A branded pen.
Branded, not just a simple pen, they're really
branded
classic
pen.
branded pens, which come with their box, small boxes. And man, 1,000 guests.
People. By the way, I'm sorry to cut you short. If there are people who have the money, for you in your bank account, you have a billion or more. And such a person, you already own a house, you already own cars and all that, certain expenditures, twins with you. But I'm looking at a couple, yeah, both of you need to, to start your life from scratch, yeah, and you end up spending 40 million just on the decoration of the ceiling, and you're still renting.
You see? Yeah. Thank you very much, James, for bringing up that. Now, like this wedding I went to, the man has. Because that's why nobody was surprised to see that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because I innocent, he's okay, he has the money.
Yes.
But you who doesn't have the money, what are you doing with that kind of extravagance? Because you know what is going to happen? To bring to life your imagination, you are going to either burden people in terms of pledges and all that.
Yeah.
Either you're going to burden people, number one. Either you're going to burden your family, where burdening means you want them to sell off property in order to finance your wedding, or you are going to get into debt. All of which don't make sense actually.
Why would you get into debt?
Why get it today? Honestly, why?
All in the name of a wedding. I believe, by the way, if it's just if I am I am the woman and my husband does such a thing, I would worry for the future of our family.
You know something, James? True. But these women are in two types. There are those who actually put in thought into things,
Yeah.
and there are those who want to enjoy the day.
Mm.
A woman who puts in thought may not allow you to do that. Unfortunately, the men are cunning. They will go and borrow this money without the woman's knowledge. Yes. Because he wants to prove a point.
Yeah.
So he will go and borrow and say, babe, we are going to do this. This is 100 million.
Yeah.
Not knowing the house they are living in, if they have built their own house, or if he had built a house before, he has taken it in a bank or something. Or his car, or some kind of land he has. It's already there in the bank, and he has brought money for a wedding. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
When down the road, a few months or 1 year, and he has failed to pay, the property goes.
Now, Andrew, going away from the couple, because now the first cause of a big wedding is the couple themselves, but also, according to our discussion, the overwhelming side are the women.
Yes.
Eh? Most times, out of 10 men, it's only one man who do such a decision,
thing,
and then they go into a debt of 100 million because they're going to marry. Yeah. But what are other things that are causing external factors that are causing couples to organize big weddings?
James, peer pressure. Peer pressure is another thing that causes people to do this. Many people don't want to or don't know how to stamp their foot down. You look at James, and on James's wedding, James coming out, he was escorted by Bobby Wine. When James's wife is coming out, she was escorted by Juliana Kanyamozi. I mean, then you say, okay, me on mine, I want to come out. Chameleon escorts me out, brings me out. When my wife is coming out, I want Cindy to bring her out. I mean, what are you doing? And then the person, James, will tell you, it's affordable. You can do it. You can do it. These people just cost 5 million shillings. These people just cost 2 million shillings. It's just 5 million.
Yeah.
Now, James, the 5 million he gave to Bobby Wine, maybe a brother of his gave, maybe a family member, or maybe James had the money. But he's telling you how it is just 5 million to bring a million or somebody to sing or to get you out. At the end of the day, you end up in a very bad situation just because you took the advice of someone.
Yes, and by the way, you talked about that. I want to do a special shout out to Rena Naromansi, Rachel Namiro, DJ Shiru, and all the artists that came on my wedding.
Oh, did you pay them?
0 shillings.
Wow.
And remember, these people just came to my wedding as friends. So
for you, DJ Shiru played on your wedding?
Yeah.
Oh,
do you know how much it costs for DJ Shiru to play on your wedding?
No.
If you don't have 2 million and above,
oh dear,
he won't.
Oh my God,
He can't. The cheapest artist in Uganda, musician in Uganda, who will come to sing at your wedding, I'm not going to mention the name, will only ask for 1 million shillings.
See what I'm talking about? 1 million shillings. Now, it may sound little, but what effect does it have on the overall budget of that wedding?
I don't know, Papa. There were very many artists that came on my wedding. But when you say peer pressure, so there are people who came on my wedding.
And so what you... So the people who came, yes.
And then they said,
if James can do this, even me, I will be able...
Even me, I will do it. But remember me as James...
You didn't pay anything.
Let me tell you this. My videography, I didn't pay even 50 shillings.
You see?
My photography,
you didn't pay.
I didn't pay even 50 shillings. My sound,
you didn't pay a coin.
I only facilitated the generator, and I gave an allowance to the guys, the kids who are playing, organizing the machines and all that. I think both the introduction and the wedding, I spent 500,000 on sound. Very unbelievable. That's a low-cost wedding.
Absolutely. I would agree.
that I manage due to social capital.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now you see? Aha. Now you brought out something very interesting. Social capital. I would rather,
Mhm.
instead of taking the negative advice of the peers, which tantamounts to peer pressure,
Yes.
exploit social
Capital. Mm.
I repeat that. Instead of you falling for peer pressure,
Mm.
which is just influence of people, exploit social capital. Because social capital adds to you, brings to you. Peer pressure takes away from you. There's a difference. Yes.
Yes.
Peer pressure doesn't give you anything positive.
Mm.
It actually throws you into fire. But
Yeah.
social capital adds value to you because they give you what you didn't have.
Mm.
Someone comes and says, no, don't do that. Let me do this to you. Eh? Someone has machines. You have a friend who has machines. Then he sees on your budget the machines to sound costs 2 million. He tells you, no. Can you scrap off that 2 million? I will give you the machines. You're exploiting social capital. Not a peer pressure where someone tells you, why is your sound 2 million? There's a better sound of 5 million shillings. It will do good for you.
Those
It will
guys are
do this.
class.
These guys are classy.
They bring you a stage that is shining down.
The stage is shining.
Disco lights.
That,
Actually, they are called disco lights.
so
They're
peer
not supposed to be at the
so peer pressure kills you instead.
Eh,
But social capital builds you.
yeah, this issue of competition. Because James, I'm better than James, I earn more money, I'm going to do a bigger wedding than him. This issue of because I'm beefing James,
Yes.
I cannot do a wedding like his. I cannot organize my wedding at the nearest venue.
Yeah.
Because that's where James had his wedding.
Yes.
A Hoka venue, no.
It's a good, I'm not going to go there.
Let me go to
Serena. Yeah.
You go.
See? Because you're in competition.
Uh-huh.
James was in Benzes. No.
Yeah.
Me, I have to get Range Rovers.
Yeah. But since
I have
he's
to
in
be
cars, let me hire
a chopper.
Chopper. Pa, 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 pa.
Problems.
Special shout outs to all of you. That's how you made your decisions. You ended up in debt and now you're divorced. Hey.
Okay, that's even worse. Those are so do that. Because by the way it happened. Yeah. You spend a lot on a wedding. Then again it ends up in divorce. What have you done to yourself? Yeah. What will you have done?
Yeah. So for me, Papa,
Yes.
I want to tell you that I think as parents we need to guide our children.
Yeah.
Because if things continue like this, you'll find the family.
Yeah.
Imagine if I had sold land and all that and everything, and I was in that huge debt. I mean, even my children would take over the poverty that they have found in our marriage. Yeah. Even them, they will make the same mistakes. So the your generations are all poor. It's because we are not managing money well.
Yeah.
I think this is something we need to borrow a leaf from whites, how they spend money and how they manage to keep money for the future.
Yeah.
I saw even in China, it's actually a government policy. Part of the money you make, you're not supposed to spend it.
You have to keep a portion.
You have to keep a portion for the future.
Monitored by government.
Yes, monitored by government.
This is not pension or anything.
Yes, monitored by government.
Wow.
Like when your salary comes, they also have pension.
So that one is separate from pension.
Yes, it's separate. So that money is kept, and actually, it's been years since I was there, but the lady saves for the generation, the next, their children and all that.
Yeah.
Now the man saves for their old age.
Which is good. That's nice.
The old age of the couple.
Yes.
So the lady's money is kept
For the next generation.
for the children. But
Their
even,
school, their grandchildren, and all that.
But even when the children come, they are supposed to just top up on that money. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It means because the government supports you with education for your children, part of your children. So when the children get jobs, because remember, as you are alive, the children are there. So you're able to pay for them school fees and all that.
Yeah.
So when the children start working, they also start adding on that one.
Okay.
So meaning at some point, if things go bad, if maybe the parents die before the child is of age, there is money
That to take them through.
take them through.
Yeah.
So that's how those guys are managing to
That's a good
keep
scheme, by
wealthy.
the way.
Yes.
That's a very good scheme.
Yeah. That's how
The mother
Mm.
saves for the
Yes.
next generation.
Yeah.
The father saves for the old age of the couple.
Yes.
That's a good one.
Yeah. And these things are happening. Those people are rich. I wonder why the only things we borrow from the outside world are the lavish things.
The negative one.
Actually, yeah, you're right to call them the negative one. That's what we borrow. And for us, we because I told you earlier that for me, I didn't pay those people. You might find for them, because of the facilities they have, it is cheaper.
Yep.
But-
Services are
yeah.
subsidized from
Yes.
the other side.
But now, to have a wedding that is in a very beautiful place like that abroad, you need Serena Kigo. And they will charge you a plate, 100 and something shillings a plate. That is a lot of money. So I think we need to really think hard. And these are ideas that we can borrow as parents.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And James, as Christians, what does the Bible tell us about?
Yeah.
Does the Bible tell us to get into debt for these things? Does the Bible tell us to be reasonable? Because the Bible tells us to apply knowledge. Knowledge is key.
Yes.
Understand something. You know? Come from a point of understanding before you end up. Because trust me, debt has nothing to do with understanding. Yeah, it has nothing to do with understanding.
Yeah.
To me, it doesn't really have to.
Yeah. So I believe if you're a good listener, this is something you should borrow. And to those couples that already made this mistake, it has already happened, but at least don't let it happen to your children.
And James, I don't think it is. I don't think spending a lot of money proves you love someone.
And actually, you've tackled the next point. Some people believe that the only way to show that you truly and deeply love your partner is by spending too much money on your wedding.
James, then that's not love. How can love be conditioned like that? That's a condition.
Yeah.
Is love conditional? No. So you can't condition it and you call it love. That's not love. If you say you prove to me that you love me by spending on me, you don't love me actually. So it's a misconception in my opinion.
Yeah.
And it takes me back to something I said earlier on, that many people have a low self-esteem.
Yeah.
So they think for me to deserve this woman, I should spend a lot such that people see, oh, he didn't deserve her, but because of money, he gains the right to do it. I don't think so.
Yeah.
You don't need to show love by spending money. No, I don't. Isn't love to me means people should save a lot of money to take their love forward. Yeah. Save to push your love forward. Don't spend to show love. That's not love. That's infatuation. Just.
How about those who spend to show status? Nze ninamu,
Same story.
nakolamu,
Status.
nze James bloga mulamba, alina podcast,
Nenkola kino.
nkola nti
Why?
embaga n'entambulira
Hapana.
boda.
No.
Eh?
Let me tell you, status. Okay, status. Who are you competing with?
There are people richer than you already.
Yes, who are you competing with? Life. Who is running the rest of life with you? Nobody.
There are people who have jets and they can just fly just to spend the
Absolutely
night.
nobody is racing with you, and nobody is interested in that. Nobody. Trust me. Nobody is. So you are actually competing with yourself. You're showing off, and many times people laugh at you and say, "Look at this one." You will come and eat your food.